Hi, Avnika. How are you?
Hi.
Okay, so what is a quick and cheap way to make a candle? Have you heard of people taking the leftover of 10 other candles and then amalgamating it into a bowl, melting it, and making their own candle? What is a cheap and effective way to make a candle?
There are lots of cheap and effective ways to make a candle, but I would suggest making a safe candle if it was for home use and if it was for personal use. So don't focus on the cheap, but focus on the quality and make a good quality candle for yourself.
Okay, so what is a popular way to induce sleep? I've seen candles and sleep have a connection.
Basically everything has a connection with fragrance. So whenever we smell something nice, it uplifts our mood. So we can use a candle to trigger a lot of emotions depending on the essential oils used. So if it were to induce sleep, I would suggest using a lavender essential oil, which has a very calming and soothing effect on us. Probably use a lavender bath salt that we make, and then light a lavender candle and tuck yourself in bed and have a good night's sleep.
Yeah, I think you're right because I've seen sometimes when I smell bad, it triggers a nausea type of
Yeah,
sensation.
there are scientific studies that have proven how our brain reacts to certain fragrances and smells. So, yes, definitely lighting a good fragrance candle will uplift your mood.
So, is there any particular fragrance or a flavor, sage, lavender, or what do you have in mind that is specific that will help people in getting or inducing sleep?
Like I said, lavender will help a lot. And we don't want to trigger too many emotions late night just before our sleep. So I think just sticking to lavender will help.
So, if there is a direct correlated question to that, how do candles treat depression? Is it because of the same activating neuron?
Yes, it's about the neurotransmitter sending messages to the brain after we smell something. So yes, we can use candles for antidepressing activities. Fragrances like the slightly stronger ones like eucalyptus, peppermint, and sage, rosemary might help with anti-anxiety and antidepressing.
What do you think about chamomile?
Chamomile is again very calming, and that's a night fragrance. So that could, you can use a mix of lavender and chamomile for a sleep-inducing effect. So I'd suggest using that for the night.
Okay, transitioning from the brain to the environment around you, how can candles help you to remove negative energy? Or what are the other ways apart from candles to remove negative energy?
So why people say that candles can remove negativity is because candle is a fire element and fire is always known to remove negativity. Whenever we do any pious activity in temples at home, we are very used to burning something. So the flame itself is an activity that can use to remove negativity. So yes, candles can help in removing negativity, and there is a whole section of candles called the chakra candles, which are used for specific activities of removing blockages and negativity in the body. So yeah.
And one more thing is, I've seen once you start focusing at a candle, you start thinking as if there is nothing else around. You'll start focusing on the thing that you want to achieve rather than the negative energy that is pushing you down. Is that one thought process that also comes to your mind?
Yes, we could use that as a thought process because if you are using a candle for a specific purpose, candles are used for manifestation, candles are used for removing negativity. So, yeah, when you have a specific purpose about using a chakra candle or a candle with some luxury crystals in them, the crystals that are used for specific purposes, you can use a candle for a specific activity relating to that particular crystal. Like, for example, if it were for manifesting money and prosperity, we have stones like green aventurine. Then there are, if there is a lot of negativity on you, there's evil eye on you, you can use a black tourmaline. So yeah, there you can use crystals to heal yourself with the candle.
Okay, interesting. Uh, can you talk about ways to maintain your candle and how many hours should it burn for a minimum? How many minutes should it burn for a minimum? And how do you monitor the wax that spreads around it? And how much is the total wax? How much is the total burn time of maybe a matte jar or an amber jar versus a birthday candle? Can you talk about the burn hours and what to do, what not to do around that burning?
So I would suggest using only 100% soy wax candle if it were for home use, if it were to be used around babies and pets, because that's the only wax that burns clean and does not emit any carbon soot. So, paraffin waxes are more used for outdoors where people are not very close to the candle. But in an enclosed space like a home, I would suggest using a soy wax candle, and always follow the rules and be very safe around a candle, especially if you have pets and babies at home. So, first of all, place your candle on a flat surface, not on an object that it might topple upon. Place it on a flat surface, light it, and always light it in sight. Don't leave a burning candle and go around doing your stuff. Uh, that's one important thing to remember whenever you're lighting a candle at home. And always burn a candle for not more than 4 hours at a time. Extinguish it, wait for the wax to cool down, trim the wax to 1/4 of an inch next the before you burn it the next time. So the black deposit on the wick is going to be eliminated and it will give you a clean burn every time you use that candle. Mm, yes,
And what
that
is the total burn time of the entire thing?
burn time cannot be specified just, like generically. What happens is it depends on the size of the jar, it depends on the number of wicks used. So, the only thing that you can always maintain, irrespective of having the burn time knowledge about a candle, is never ever burn a candle for more than 4 hours at a time. Because then the jars tend to heat up and it could be an unsafe activity to continue, especially if you have babies at home.
So always be in sight, burn under 4 hours, and ensure that the wax pool reaches till the end
Yeah.
before you extinguish it. Otherwise, does it form like a tunnel in between?
Yes, it will, because the wax deposited on the sides of the jar is never going to melt. That's the reason for that is soy wax has a memory. So every time you burn the candle, it's only going to remember the amount of wax that was melted the previous time, and it's only going to continuously melt that much amount of wax. So you have to ensure that you maintain the wax pool till the ends or the edges of the jar that is burning in, and only then extinguish your candle and then light it again.
Okay, thank you so much for that. You've touched upon lavender. What do you think about sage and lotus? What are the benefits of them? I think you have a series Aqua Lotus
Yeah,
and Aqua
basically,
Wave.
aqua lotus also has a very calming effect. Sage also has a very calming effect. Those can be used as antidepressant fragrances, but there is I would say is there is a variety, there is a huge variety of fragrances available, and fragrance liking is a very personal issue. Some fragrances that appeal to me might not appeal to somebody else. So, on one hand, we are trying to categorize and say that, okay, these fragrances are used for a particular feeling or a particular use. But what happens is, I feel people should decide for themselves. What might seem like an antidepressant fragrance to me might not seem like an antidepressant fragrance to somebody else. So, fragrance is a personal choice, and there are umpteen amounts available everywhere. So, maybe people can do some trial and error and finally decide the ones that they like the best.
Okay. And beyond that, beyond what you have mentioned, I've seen a new kind of entrant has come into the market, LED candles. Is that useless? Or I know that it gives the same effect as a candlelight dinner, but in terms of negativity, manifestation, mood upliftment, what is
See,
the
LED
contrast?
candles is just a cheap way of having the ambience set for a candlelight dinner, or the basic uses of a candle, but then at the end of the day there is no fragrance in them. So your whole idea of burning a candle is of no use here. It's just that you're not wasting any wax, and you don't have to keep buying candles again and again. You're just going to use those like showpieces every time. But this whole use of candles that we discussed for meditation, for anti-depression, mm, for the fragrance, for the upliftment of the mood, all those purposes are not going to be served by an LED candle.
Okay. And have you heard of the term candle march? I've seen when, the youth wants to protest against something, or the uh, whether there is like a march against some activity, or a mass prayer, or pray for the departed soul, or justice for the wrong. Why is there a candle march that is held?
I don't really know why, but what I would like to interpret is when someone passes away, people light candles, maybe because the departed soul is trying to show us some path of light. And um, yeah, so maybe they are illuminating our lives, or trying to illuminate our lives after they've passed on.
Okay.
So, yeah, candles have a big role to play in prayer and in meditation.
So just a digression from the prayer angle. I've heard the Jains believe that the candles have cells. So what do you think of that concept? Do candles have cells or live beings within them?
I have no idea.
Okay. So how do I get the most heat from a candle in cold countries? People tend to light candle, and how many candles do you think is
I
needed?
don't think candles can serve the heat purpose. For that, you'll have to have a campfire,
Okay.
but yeah, they can definitely uplift your mood.
And is it okay to burn the candles at both ends? I've seen people making the candle as horizontal and then
No,
burning
I would
both.
suggest not trying these activities at home.
Okay.
Dangerous.
Okay. So, have you heard of the spells and incantation on the candle? How does it work? Like, how do spells with the candle work? I've seen people move alphabets around to call a soul.
Yeah, there is a lot of science behind that. And there are spells that people like to engrave on the candle and then anoint them with some spices and then burn the whole candle and make a wish. So, yeah, that's for one whole long discussion separately.
Okay. So do you think candle making business is profitable? I know that in the West it's a $2 billion business, but how do you think Indians are taking it, and how is the demographic of India going to adopt the candle? Are you too early, or do you think that candles are catching up? Like, I think you are following a few people on Instagram who are like-minded, and what trend do you see?
Definitely, candles was a big thing in the West. I would not want to be very biased by saying this, but candles have a very big role to play in Christianity, which is not a dominant religion in India. That is why we have not seen so much usage of candles in India. But like for every trend, India has been influenced by the West. I think they are coming around to burning a lot of candles, especially the youth, because they have a lot of understanding about mental health and depression and how things can uplift their mood. So I think candles is a big source for that. So in the coming years, India definitely will have a lot more candle makers. They've already started, lots of people running their business from home, and it also makes for a very good gift. So I think the mindset is changing, and candle making or selling candles, or this whole candle business is going to have a big future in the coming years.
And I have touched I've touched soap in the past, and I've touched candles. I feel they are of the same material. Can I convert a soap into a candle by putting a wick in it?
I don't think so. I don't think you can convert a soap into a candle, but a lot of cosmetics that we use on our skin, like lotions and balms, have a wax in them. They could have a percentage of soy wax because it is skin safe, but they definitely do have beeswax, which is used in most cosmetics and is extremely skin safe. So yes, the the look or the texture might make you feel that, but soaps I'm not too sure about, but cosmetics definitely have a lot of waxes in them.
Okay, I've also read your product plan, and you're planning to do just that. You're planning to convert your candle into a soap or a lotion of some sort. Can you talk about the upcoming product and excite the readers or
Yes,
listeners
so
about it?
I'm going to launch a body massage candle. What it does is you light the candle, wait for about 15 to 20 minutes, and let the wax pool melt till the edge. You can extinguish the candle and drop that liquid on your skin and massage it directly onto your skin, because it's going to be made of essential oils and moisturizing oils that we use on our skin from other cosmetics, and obviously beeswax, which is used. It's going to be extremely nourishing, and these candles last longer. And who wouldn't want a candle that serves dual purpose? Instead of buying another body massage lotion and a separate candle, we're going to have one product that can do both the things to your skin.
Okay. Thank you for that. How do you extinguish a candle?
There's something called a candle snuffer. There's a kit that has wick trimmer and a snuffer. So don't ever try to blow a candle with your hand. Don't ever touch the flame. Don't ever blow to because what happens is sometimes the wax is in liquid form, and if you blow too hard, you might splash the wax all around and it's going to be hot. So you might hurt yourself. So always use a candle snuffer to extinguish a flame. And the next time you light the candle, always trim the wick to 1/4 of an inch. So you're going to eliminate the black part that's burnt and then light your candle. So you'll ensure a clean burn every time.
Okay. Uh, Also, we know that, when you light a candle, it becomes half its size later, and we know that, this somewhere goes and becomes soot or carbon. So where does the burnt wax in case of soy wax go? Like, is it converted to carbon monoxide or dioxide?
I don't think there is any carbon soot in soy wax. Paraffin, yes, it might. That's why it's said it's not safe around people at home because we're in a confined space. But soy wax burns clean, so I'm assuming it does not emit any harmful chemicals into the air. So, yeah, I think the wax tends to evaporate. So it does evaporate as it burns. And obviously, your candle is going to become smaller every time you light it. That's why you're going to buy another candle the next time.
Okay. Now that the summer is coming up, many people are going to be in AC compartments because thanks to global warming. Is it safe to light candle inside an AC room? Or maybe Pretty Little Things candles, can they be used within AC rooms?
Soy wax candle can definitely be used. I would suggest using a smaller sized candle so that your flame is not too big. And even if you are in the house, but avoid using it in a closed room if you are not present in the room. So, yeah, maybe the size of the candle will help. Don't use a very big candle in front of an AC.
Okay. So one last question before we end this episode. What happens if you eat a candle?
Really? I don't know who is this person who wants to eat a candle.
Maybe kids are innocent, and people have asked this question on Google. So I think you consider it to be unsafe?
If it's made of beeswax, suppose lip balm has a beeswax in it, so we're obviously, licking some part of it, and I'm assuming it does not do as much harm. But I'm not too sure about soy wax. And please, if you have kids at home, if you have babies at home, just be very careful of where you're burning the candle, and please do not entertain such activities
Well,
where
thank you.
your kids want to eat some soy wax candle. We have candies for them. not candles.
Well, I guess internet does come up with their own type of humor,
Yes,
and
of
people
course.
do have these ideas. And it was a pleasure talking to you, Avnika Bhandari. And this ends this episode on Pretty Little Things on Candles.
Thank you
This
so
is Karan
much.
Bhandari, your co-host. This is me signing off.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.